Hi, Priya. Jeff Allen here. I'm warning you up front, I got a cough because I've gotten out of a week of bronchitis, so I'll probably cough. So that'll happen. There we go. Started already, right? I'm also in a restaurant. People are talking loud. I'm in France, Paris area. People want to talk loud, right? So they love their food. They love to talk. So we're gonna have some background noise. I'll try to hype up my microphone to get it so it's like that. I'll try to get some coverage here, but hey, that's where I'm at right now, right? Um, The I missed your. This is about your Lock Talk, your announcement about your Lock Talk uh, keynote, and what you said here about before you start creating anything, always put yourself in the shoes of your people you're talking to. Keep your audience at the center of your decision making. I missed your talk because, and I had sent you a LinkedIn request before saying I want to come to this talk, right? And I had to be going in the car between two different locations at the moment of the talk, so it's kind of bad timing for me. So I'll watch it afterwards, right? I'll watch the recording. Sorry, if people are talking loud, I'll talk louder, and maybe they will stop talking because I'm talking louder in English, right? So it'll do that. Actually, they're Creole speakers, so I'll turn them to speaking Creole afterwards. We'll see. Um, the the funny thing about talking to the audience is really clear. Knowing your audience is really clear. It's super important, and so many people don't do this. So many people are not trained to do this, including salespeople. Including salespeople. So I want to give a couple of examples where it's just obvious that people need to be trained, right? So I get a lot of emails, at least a couple a day, many a week. People wanting me to sell me their solutions, service translate, translation, localization, authoring, whatever solution services, right? And sometimes I actually call them up and I say, "Hi, it's Jeff," and they're just like surprised, right? Wow, the person's calling is me. I say, "Do you know who I am?" "Well, you work at this company." I said, "Do you know who I am?" I said, "Did you read beyond my LinkedIn headliner? Go into my profile, look at what my jobs have in the past, now and past." They said, "No." I said, "Well, that's the first wrong decision." I said, "You just lose a prospect. That's the fastest way to lose a prospect because you don't know your audience, right?" I said, "You're not qualifying your prospects, which is bad sales techniques." I said, "That's really bad sales techniques. So I'm going to tell you how to do it better." And I tell them how to do it better, right? So that they'll sell more pies, right? Just like TransPerfect, because I want everybody to sell more pies rather than just try to get a big piece of the bigger pie, right? So um, people don't qualify their customers, their prospects. They don't even, and so that's just the same thing. They don't know who their audience is. The key thing is knowing who your audience is at all times. And I do this for everything. I give a lot of business coaching inside of the company I work at on how to get headcount or how to get people to time, resources, assets, whatever materials, funding, whatever to work on projects. I do a lot of this, and when I'm involved, it usually happens. If I'm not involved, well, I do a lot of coaching to help people how to do it, right? Even if I'm behind the scenes. But the key thing is a lot of people try to talk about too many details. They just don't know how to get to the essentials of who, what, when, where, why. Bam, get it out. Tell the people up front you're going to do to talk about who, what, when, where, why in a couple of minutes, and then you set the scene. And it's really key. That's really key. So that's kind of one example of knowing your audience and doing it and getting to know your audience. Another example was this past week. I signed up to attend a webinar, which I did not get to see live because, again, I think I was on the lock. It was during the lock talk, and it was at the same time, I think, right? So, got to make choices, right? So I watched the recording, and they sent me a thing saying you missed the live session. Come to hear the recording. So I went and watched the recording, right? And I'm sorry, I'm talking louder, but I'm going to try to talk louder than people behind me, right? So that's how it is. The first 10 minutes, Priya, the first 10 minutes, I'm not kidding, was done by a native speaker of English, a marketing person who was reading a script. reading a script. It was the most boring 10 minutes I have ever had in a webinar. Just boring. And then they were going to have a demo after this, right, of some solution. And I didn't even watch the demo part. I responded to the email saying I missed it. And I said, I watched the recording. I said, you just lost me. I said, I was interested, but this is the worst way to do marketing. I said, the person doesn't even know their stuff, right? They don't know their stuff. They got to read a script to know it. Or I said, when you have anybody in an intro, no script reading. And I've done a lot of videos of voiceovers, right? And I make it so I know the topic really well. If I don't know it as well, but I know the topic before I do it, right? I talk it. I get to know it really well before I do a voiceover or anything, right? Never make it sound like you're reading a script. Again, knowing your audience, it just sounds bad, okay? So those are a couple examples why, again, I'm sorry I'm coughing, but I want to get these videos out to talk about these things. Even they got coughing, it's where I'm in a restaurant, okay, whatever. But the key thing here, is people need to know who their decision makers. They need to study out their decision makers, their stakeholders. They need to study them out, know them well, know who they're talking to, knowing who they're trying to get stuff, knowing the interests of their stakeholders other than the topic. Get to know them so you can do touch points on certain things in their lives. That's called sales strategy, right? So, and then storytelling. So many people just, I work with a lot of people, they just try to do the points, right? And I tell stories because I make it interesting. And I tell a story, even if it's fast. Sometimes I don't really tell a story fast. I just kind of wrap it up in a story. I even talk about like auditing purpose. I actually did. I'll tell you. I did a presentation on the ISO 91000 auditing process management summary for the year back several years ago for the previous year, and I told a story to the management. I said, hey, it's kind of like our SAP, our local bands here at the company. We could do, if we audit them, here's how we do it. And we do the Scrum stuff. I made a whole analogy to the bands that we listen to our company bands do concerts for us, right? I said, if I audit them, here's how I do it. And I made it really interesting for them, right? And then they listened to me about how well we got our audit in for our company. And it made it interesting, gamified it, right? And it told a story. So storytelling is really key. Knowing your customer is really key. And a lot of people just need a lot of training on this, a lot of practice. I'm doing it in my company, but we got to do it more. Got to sell more storytelling pies, right? So thanks so much. And I'm going to watch your video when it comes out. Thanks so much.